Welcome to the Orlando Lions Den podcast, your number one Orlando City podcast. For the fans, by the fans. For the fans, by the fans. Keeping you in the know on all things Orlando City since 2018.
Whew. I am still trying to get the tweets out, and I can't spell when I'm under pressure. So gotta give me a second while I'm doing it. We had some technical difficulties getting started. Cleon's running a little bit late. My headphones decided they no longer want to function. But Ryder was here, and he was good to go. So
you're making that sound like it wasn't a complete rush, and I didn't have to literally move two other laptops to the other side of the room before I could even get my original personal laptop setup going. So laptops, we're just
you sounded like a nerd right now.
They're both work laptops. This is what happens when you switch jobs.
It's okay. I mean, you see, I have my multiple monitors behind me. I have my work laptop over here. I understand the same exact struggle. So
we'll do it live.
Yeah, we're doing it live. If you guys are also sitting here watching in the misery that is the U.S. men's national team, sorry. We both have the game on too. And at least the positive here is that we can't blame Alex Freeman. Our boy's on the bench. And he is, if anything, he is proving that he's going to be starting the entire Gold Cup, because these fullbacks in Harriel and Arfston, boy, did they just have a shocker of a first half. They were not good. It looks like they brought in Tolkien to try and help out. We'll see if that helps at all. He is a more defensive fullback than Arfston is. I think Tolkien and Freeman should be the pair going forward in this tournament, to be completely honest, because it gives Freeman the freedom to go forward. But what do I know? What do I know?
I was literally all I was going to say is just let Freeman go more forward than he did.
In the first game, he was stay at home, man. I don't get
why.
It.
Let him in if nothing else, on corners. They only had four corners in that match, and you didn't even see Freeman anywhere near there. And that's where he's dangerous.
Yeah,
just let him work.
He is best in attack, and he was not utilized for that. And the other thing that I would say is that Matt Turner clearly looks like a goalkeeper who doesn't play games for his team. Looks like he's at least on the move now, so he'll get to play games, hopefully.
$9 million. To Leon?
Honestly, surprising. Yeah, to Leon. Honestly, surprising that he's still cost that much, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
But they're supposedly selling their goalkeeper, who is one of the better ones in their league. He's getting sold over to Italy, I think. That looks likely. So that means that realistically, Matt Turner should get to play games for Leon, which, going into a World Cup that we're hosting on soil, I sure as hell would hope that the goalkeeper that we have is playing games. So anyways, we're ranting about stuff that does not matter, is not Orlando City related. So let's talk about some Orlando City related stuff, because we haven't done that in 2 weeks. We took the international break as well. But let's first go ahead and shout out sponsors first. Let's go ahead and give a quick shout to Hourglass Brewing. No Mango, No Party, our good friends over there at Hourglass Brewing. This is the worst that we've looked since the watch party, as these couple losses coming out of May. So let's hope that June is a little bit better. And if not, go ahead and drink some No Mango, No Party to make it feel better. That's the way to go. Then we got Chad McGibbon. If you're looking to buy a house in the Central Florida area, at Chad McGibbon on Twitter, or use the QR code on the screen to go ahead and get your assistance there. And if you're buying a house, Leo with the Epic Mortgage team is going to be able to assist you with your financing needs, whether it be a mortgage or refi, whatever you want. He's got you covered. And last but not least, our boy Eddie, one of the best insurance reps in the state of Florida, if we do say so ourselves. He's helping out some of our guys in Manscaped League One get some great coverage updates, and he's happy to help you do it too. Hit up the pod if you need to get in contact with Eddie. He'll make sure that your insurance is in good shape, and if it's not, he'll get you right. That's what he does. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just talk about the fact that we ended May on 2 losses, a 3-2 loss at Atlanta, and a 3-1 loss at home to Chicago. And I think that these 2 losses, without even going into the specifics, I feel like these 2 losses really kind of hinge on one moment. And that is Cesar getting one of the most boneheaded red cards you can ever imagine in Atlanta. We were up 2-1, and then lost in stoppage time. And then not having Cesar to clog the middle of the field against Chicago, I think was really a really big pain point for us as well. I understand bad moments happen. They happen to every player. This was a really, really friggin' rough one, if we're going to be completely honest. Because for those that don't remember, or for those that want to recap it with us, essentially what happened is he got shoved in the back, and normally Cesar's a little bit of a diver, so he didn't go down, and instead came up and put his hands towards the throat of one of the players of Atlanta, and the ref was 2 feet behind him. Some people were saying it's a soft red card. Kaká got a red card for doing something.
I was going to say it's Orlando heritage.
It was literally, I think it was Aurelian Collin. He did
it was
in
Aurelian
2016. And you know, it's like kind of like a little friendly gesture, and Kaká got a red card for it. It is a point of emphasis for referees. No gesturing towards the neck, or you know, the head or neck area, unless of course you're an Argentinian who plays for Miami, or Hector Herrera. Those are the only 2 players that are allowed to do it. But yeah, it's literally the ref was 2 feet behind him. I don't care if you want to call it soft. I'm going to call it dumb. You know, we conceded 2 goals after that. And the 2 goals that we scored against Atlanta were honestly like kind of lucky. You know, it was a bad defensive error that gave us the Ramiro Enrique goal. And I'm trying to remember the goal that was before it, but I'm still got the other game up. So I'm bringing up FootBob right now.
It was.
Yeah, it was a Cesar Araujo, the screamer, quote unquote, that he scored. That was really just a shot that got by Guzan, and it wasn't it was just bad goalkeeping. You know, so it's just one of those things that it's just frustrating. The game against Chicago is frustrating, going down 3-0 in that one. Got one back through our boy Alex Freeman, who we hyped up at the beginning of the show. You know, but it's been a while, so I don't have a lot of thoughts on these games. Obviously, I did the Den After Darks after, but I'm going to go, Alex, I'm just going to pass it off to you. What do you have to say? What do you want to say talking about these losses? And Cleon should be in here soon, so we can ask him about them too.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll have a lot to say, so I'll keep it brief and stick to my notes, because you hit the nail on the head. It's all one moment with Cesar just doing that boneheaded red card. And then I will give a small shout to also Oscar getting sent off too for arguing with the 4th official and not being able to do anything about the tactics. I know he might have been on a walkie-talkie from up in the booth, but still, his lack of presence on the pitch, along with Cesar, it's primarily Cesar's fault, but between the 2 of them being gone for Chicago, we had lost that game before we even stepped on the pitch, as far as I'm concerned. Short rest, losing in such a demoralizing way. We were up 2-1, and then we give up the go-ahead goal in stoppage time. I was on the Skyway Bridge in St. Pete, driving to my sister-in-law's graduation when that 3rd goal went in.
That is a bad place to be if you're having a bad loss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was not good. I was listening because my wife was listening to TikToks on her phone. So I had the game in my AirPods, so she didn't know what was going on. So I let out several expletives, and it scared her. And I feel really bad for that, because it was like 10:30 at night and we were about to get to our hotel, but still, it was not a good moment. Not a good time. And the way we performed against Chicago was even more disheartening. It looked like the only person out there that gave a darn was Alex Freeman. And that's why he got the call up. And that's why it's like you said earlier, bragging on him, that I think he's going to be the starter. And for the Gold Cup, and I'm glad he's not playing tonight, because you can't hang this 4-0, could be 5-0, whatever performance on him. So
literally right before we got on, I was watching the watch along for Call It What You Want, which is the Jimmy Conrad, Tony Miola, Charlie Davies podcast that they do for Galazzo Network. And they brought on our boy Tom Bogert while doing that, and in the time that Tom Bogert was on there, it went from 1-0 to 4-0. So they called him a mush and kicked him off. Meanwhile, he's in there talking about the Club World Cup and how all these players are seeking, how the players are seeking more money. Which, to be completely honest, go Players. I'm on the side of you. You guys signed the CBA before this tournament and this iteration existed, and you knew what kind of prize money could have been on the line. I think it's fair that you should hold the rights to renegotiate that, since this wasn't something that was a part of it.
Get that bag.
Exactly. So I don't care that the owner of Seattle is upset about it. He can go suck eggs, so. But yeah, so if you guys are watching along with us, feel free to, as always, put your comments in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking, and we'll get you guys on screen as how you feel about this game, about these games. But realistically, there's, like I said, there's, especially because it's been 2 weeks, I don't have much to say. If I'm going to go ahead and have anything to say, it's just going to be negative, so realistically, we'll get to the negative and we'll just do a little stock up, stock down. Cleon hopefully will be here soon, but we'll cut back and see if he had any thoughts that he wanted to add on the 2 losses. But I'll go to you first, then Ryder, if you want to give me a stock up, stock down on the just on the week. You don't have to do it on the individual.
On the week, stock up, Alex Freeman, and I'm going to give a deep cut, but I'll come back to why in a minute, or I'll use this for a segue later. Ramiro Enrique. We needed that goal from him. I think that's going to be key going into the next month. And we can talk a little bit more about that later. Stock down. And it's sad because originally, if we were going to do 2 stock up, 2 stock down, I was going to say Cesar stock up and stock down for the first match. So
yeah, he was both.
But yeah, honorable mention to Robin Janssen for definitely showing his age.
Yeah. So if you guys have stock up, stock down, feel free to go ahead and put it in the chat as well. I'm going to go ahead. Stock up, I agree with you. I'll give it to Alex Freeman, just because the fact that he was he looked like he still gave a crap in that game. And I think that you're also fair giving one to Ramiro, just because of the fact that he also, needs the goal in the worst way. That's the thing with goal scorers, is they need goals. So it's, good to see him have a moment. As for stock down, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of just go general on it and stock down to Oscar Pareja. You're yelling about, you got to end up getting red carded for yelling about something that's always a red card. And then realistically, I think that through this final stretch of May, where we literally lost 3 of our last 4 games, I really don't think that he set the team up for success. I think he should have rotated a little bit more. I think that there should have been better man management. And, people that are like, oh, well, Javier Carrillo was the coach for this final game. No, he wasn't. It was Oscar Pareja. He was probably giving commands, potentially, like you said, on a walkie-talkie, was it Miguel Herrera style when, what was it, the one CCC game back in the day at Exploria during COVID. He was probably, in the stands, go ahead and giving shout outs through that there. But I just don't think he rotated the team well enough. I don't think that we were really set up for success. And frankly, I don't think, and like I said, people putting it on Carrillo, for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, Pareja sets up the team. It was still his team. I don't think that anything that Carrillo did, it's not like Oscar Pareja's not there during the week. Like, he's still there during the week. He's just not on the sideline for the game. So it was just disappointing to see how strong of a run that we went on. Because in the league, at least, if you take out the Open Cup game, in the league, we went 12 unbeaten and then lost 2 in a row.
6 wins, 6 draws, and we've had in all competitions 3 losses in our last 5. It's
yes. We needed the break in the worst way, realistically. I just got a text from Cleon. He should be on soon, so I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. So any thoughts on my stock up, stock down? Am I being too harsh on Oscar Pereja for that, or do you think that's justified?
No, he needs to.
I was going to say my big thing that I don't think you were on the podcast when I said it, but when we got knocked out of the Open Cup by Nashville, my biggest gripe there was the fact that Nashville rotated the crap out of their team and still beat us. So I was like,
we barely rotated, other than.
That's why I said it. We barely rotated at all. We kept pretty much all starters. I said, if that's one of those things, if we lose that game, in retrospect, it's going to look like that was a gigantic mistake, because now the league is going to get set back. And I was right. Like, yeah, we beat Portland, but then we lost the next two after that against opponents that are in the same conference as us. So,
and we barely beat Portland. That was like 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah. Poppy special.
That was barely a win. We had performances, and I was actually looking at the last year's, not this year, so I don't want to list off the wrong ones. We had the 3-1 against Charlotte, the 4-1 against DC United. Those games you're supposed to win gritty, but beating LA Galaxy 2-1 at the time looked like a big win back in March. Now it looks like nothing, because they've been so bad. Like, historically.
I was going to say they're like Colorado Rockies bad right now, like on pace to be like worst team in the history of baseball, like technically not, because I think there's a team from 1899 that exists when there wasn't as many games. But I did just go and see the Colorado Rockies play against my Mets this past weekend, and the Mets put up 13 runs and hit 6 homers in their ballpark. So I can say, granted, the Mets are good. I will say one of the funniest things, I looked to my buddy who was sitting next to me during that game. Jeff McNeil had hit 2 home runs, and Pete Alonso came back up to bat, and Pete already had 1 on the day. And I looked at him, I was like, come on, Pete, you don't want to look weak and have a guy like McNeil get more homers than you. You got to hit one right now. And then literally next pitch, I was like, I wish I could have bet something. Like, I made a joke and he hit a home run immediately. Like,
anytime bets, at least you got the story now.
Hey, they're out there. So it was just funny. But yeah, so all right, we got Cleon coming in shortly, so we'll just go ahead and cut back to him when he gets here, because this is going to be a short pod, because there's not a lot to talk about realistically. But I'll go ahead and just bring. Oh, never mind. Okay, he said the storm knocked out his internet, so we might be without him. It's just a 2-man show tonight. Let me just text him back real quick, so that way he knows that we know. It's all good, man. We got it.
We're doing it live.
Yep.
Duncan injury. I didn't hear about this until yesterday. I've been kind of out of the world the last couple days, because I'm starting a new job and all that jazz. But
hey,
this is such bad luck for Duncan, because he had just come back. And now he's injured his other shoulder.
It's a different shoulder.
Yeah, his other one was his right shoulder, and he was supposed to be gone 4 or 5 months, and he came back in 3.5.
It was about 4, but yeah, still, doesn't really make a difference. That's semantics. It's just the only thing that's a positive out of this is that the club anticipates that he's going to be back before the end of the season. They did say that in their press release, but I'm with you, man. It just sucks, It's the last thing that eliminates him.
Yeah. It eliminates him from any chance at getting back into the national team anytime soon.
Why would you want to go back right now? They're bad. I'm sorry. I'm very cynical right now. Mauricio Pochettino's a fraud, it looks like. So
that's putting it kindly. He could always go back to Spurs if he wants to.
No, they just announced. It just came out today that I think Thomas Frank is going to be hired by them. So,
yeah, it's really sad to see Duncan out for this period of time, but about 11 months ago, in the first week of July, Ramiro Enrique came on the scene and went on, what was it, a 5-match run or a 4-match run?
5 matches with a goal.
And the only encouraging thing that I've gotten out of the last 2 matches, other than Freeman, is Enrique getting on the score sheet, as I said earlier. If he can get hot again right now, and he don't get me wrong, he's not going to be starting. I think he's going to be coming off the bench to relieve or complement Moriel and allow Moriel to drop back more.
Mm-hmm.
And Enrique can attack more. If he can come on and complement Moriel, especially against weaker teams that don't guard the center as well, we could have some fun. Ojeda can feed them. Freeman can feed them once he's back from international duty, which might be a minute because Gold Cup's coming up quick.
I would say he's probably, we can expect that Freeman's probably going to be out for June. Realistically, we got 3 games in June. I don't know that we're going to see him for any of them.
So,
I mean, I don't have a problem with either Kyle Smith or Dagger Dan starting at right back.
Yeah,
I really don't. You know, it's
Dagger
change how we attack a little bit, but not too worried about it.
As long as we don't operate exclusively from the left and Angulo, I'll be happy.
I mean, if we do that, we're probably going to put Kyle Smith at right back and then Santos at left back. So it's just going to shift how we do it. Santos gets more forward the way that Freeman did, and Kyle's just basically kind of more like a third center back like Bracalo was. But I really can't see that happening. I feel like it's more likely that Dagger will be the right back.
Well, let's hope that they can just adapt and overcome that, because that's what we need right now if we're going to be shorthanded.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I will say that, you know, to try and put a positive light on this is that I think that this might open up an opportunity for another homegrown contract to be put out here. And that's Justin Ellis. I think that he's another person who's in line for a homegrown. He just scored, I want to say it was a 93rd minute game winner against, I think it was Australia. They were playing in France with like the
U18s.
Yeah, he scored a 93rd minute game winner. Colin Gusky also was wearing the captain's armband in that game, so shout out to Colin for that one. And also Jackson Platts was there. So you know that Jackson Platts is another one. He got an official OCB contract, like Taifi did previously. So he's another one who, you know, we could look at. But that's the thing. There's a lot of kids right now in the pipeline. I mean, we won the U18 GA Cup. The U16s made it to the final for like the relegation bracket. The U13s and U14s just won a big tournament in Kansas City. Both age groups won the tournament, which is kind of crazy. So we got a youth development pipeline that we've never had before. And it's now like Alex Freeman's the beginning of starting to see the fruits of that. It's going to continue. Like once it starts, it's going to continue as long as the philosophy stays the same. And as long as I think Ricardo and Muzi are in play as far as their front office roles, even though Muzi's shifted a little bit now, I feel like the academy is going to be something that's going to keep going. So I could see Justin Ellis realistically being one of the next ones to potentially get that homegrown.
And that's what we need. Next man up, and not just from transfers, but from true grit and growing up in the system. I mean, there was just an article. Who was the article about one of the homegrowns that was just posted today? How he has been through the entire system now. I'm trying to.
It's Taifi.
Okay, it was Taifi.
It's because they had a bunch of pictures of him with
all of his jerseys,
and the ones that are like youth large. Like.
Yeah, it's incredible to see that, and I'm hoping that that's a tradition we can keep up for a long time, and we can look forward to the next man up mentality of you have a senior player go down, sign a contract, and let's see what these kids can do. And good thing Cleon's not here, because he's not going to go, forget them kids.
Yeah, no, he usually says something a little bit more vulgar. But you're right on nice. That. Okay, that hurts a little bit for a bet that I have, but I'll take it. Don't mind me looking at bet things that I have going on. I'm a degenerate.
Call the number.
It's if I was betting on who, if I was betting on who the next Pope was, then I need to call a number.
Did you buy one of the Pope cards?
No,
there was a Topps Now Pope card.
I haven't bought any, and I haven't bought any like MLS cards at all in this like latest run. I think we just didn't have a good set in the library this time that where I was like, I want them. Like, so I didn't really care. I didn't get a whole heck of a lot.
I bought one of my most prized possessions in this set.
What'd you get?
Facundo Torres numbered relic.
Oh, nice. Nice. Was that number to 50?
Numbered to 50. It's 50. It's the 50 out of 50.
Oh, you got a bookend. All right, that's nice.
Yeah, I did get a bookend. $20 on eBay. Thank God. I've seen it. I got it early. I've already seen it go up to like 50 or 60. So I'm
yeah. Realistically, that's what I would have wanted to get if I got anything. Because I love relic cards and we usually never get them. Okay. So, but no, I agree with you. Because we were talking next man up, and then the other thing that we also really haven't even mentioned is Caraballo. Like he was also kind of featured on league pages or our like team page a little bit this year too. He also was the MVP of the U18 GA Cup, and he's 16. Like this kid's gonna be a stud. We're getting him integrated early. We can see him playing a big factor. But I do want to go ahead and just make a quick note of our international Lions this week. Granted, the U.S. men's national team, at least the senior team, has been kind of crap, for lack of a better term, considering they're still losing 4-0 at the moment. Alex Freeman is with them. When it comes to the youth U.S. men's national teams, we could go ahead and count Colin Gusky is there, along with Justin Ellis and Jackson Platts, who are technically OCB guys. But people that I would expect to see come up soon. Then we also have, David Rekalo with Slovenia. I believe he got a start and it went to full 90 in a 2-1 win today against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Marko Paslic got called up to Croatia and even had an assist that was beautiful to Ivan Perisic. I think they were playing against Gibraltar in their last game where he got the assist. I think he played in both games as well. Dagger Danther Halson got called up with Iceland. And Pedro Gallese, of course, is with Peru. Am I missing anybody else?
I don't believe so. I do have a shout out on that same vein once you finish your thought.
No, I go for it. I can't remember if I'm missing anybody.
This doesn't involve international play, but boy, was it an entertaining Saturday. I think it was the quarterfinal of the soccer tournament between Nani FC, the TST. The quarterfinal. It was either the quarterfinal or the semifinal between Concave, Pat McAfee's team, Concava SC versus Nani FC. So you had Breck Shea versus Nani, and at one point the two of them got into a fight. If that is not Orlando City heritage and something that we should at least give a little shout out to in international or weird tournament discussions, because they're all just weird tournaments at this point. They all are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at what everyone's saying about the Club World Cup. It's really quite. I don't know if we're losing the spirit of the game so much as we're just getting a lot of the game. And as someone who loves soccer, I don't mind it. But if you water down some of the other competitions, it could be a problem. See also the Leagues Cup.
This is true. There's more subs coming. Okay, Damian Downs is coming on. I don't see Freeman, unless I missed something.
No, I didn't see Freeman either.
Haji Wright, that's Paxton Aronson, I think, on the bench. Okay, so he's still not playing. Which, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing him come on, but realistically, I think this is probably solidifying for Poach that he should be the starter for the Gold Cup. Because it's been pretty not great from the other guys. So we'll see. But anywho, so international Lions, that's really all that we got. I don't think that I was missing anybody. If I was, yell at me in the comments. That's perfectly fine. But I am excited. I get to see our boys in person this weekend as they're traveling here to Colorado. I'm excited. I have not gone to a game this year because I don't live there anymore. But I do live in Denver, which means I just need to make a short drive out to Commerce City to go and see the game. And I can go ahead and let you guys know real quick, a humble brag, parking's free out here. So
Isn't that the stadium where they had the diseased gophers though, or was that Real Salt Lake?
that was here, but shut up about that. You get free parking, you get a diseased gopher. Okay, I think it was prairie dogs actually.
Prairie dogs, that's it.
And it was it Ebola?
I think it was. I have to look this up now. It was like 2015 or 2016.
I think it might have been 20. I think it was closer to 2020. But you're right that it was. I think it was prairie dogs around the Dick's Sporting Goods Park, which I have been to it once this year. I went to see the Rapids versus FC Dallas for my friend's birthday.
It was 2019.
I said it was closer to 2020.
Areas around Dick's Sporting Goods Park temporarily closed due to plague. A plague affected prairie dogs in the area has resulted in the voluntary closure of areas around the stadium to prevent spread. That's why the parking's free.
Hey, it's better than $25, all right? So,
this is from August 2nd, 2019, and the website that is apparently still Sports Illustrated.
There you go. Most of their articles are written by AI now, so or A1, as Linda McMahon likes to call it.
Put that on the stake.
Maybe we don't put wrestling executives in charge of education. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. As a big wrestling fan, but yeah. So anyway,
they can be. They could. You can have wrestlers as governors now.
I mean, we have one. Or well, no,
Minnesota.
Previously, Jesse the Body, Ventura, and the rest are mayors because I think there's Matt Morgan is one in Longwood, if I'm not mistaken. He's the mayor of Longwood, and Kane is the is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. So there you go. The more you know.
Getting a lot of education today.
There you go. Happy to help. But yeah, so I'm excited. I get to see our boys. I'm a little sad that I'm not going to get to see Alex Freeman because clearly he's going to be with the U.S. men's national team. So that's just a personal bummer because I've been one of the people that's been hyping him up the most this season for preseason before he even got in, saying that he was going to be the guy and that he was ready. So again, just a little sad that I don't get to see the guy that I've been hyping up so much. But I'm excited to see Prime Ojeda with how good he's been playing. And I'm hoping we take home all 3 effing points because Colorado's been okay. They have not been great. They've been okay. And I think that this is a situation where you got to win. And shout out to Nick from ILF for hooking me up with the link to get in with the supporters group tickets.
Nice.
I appreciate you. I'm happy that me and Adam from Cappies are going to be in that supporter section for the traveling fans, the little tiny section that they sliver off for us. But I'm very excited to be around, the like-minded fans, the fans on the right side, and my Orlando 316 shirt from Wrestling Weekend finally came in from Fanatics. So I'm excited about that. And it looks like it is a shirt and it is printed in the right direction and everything is spelled right, which coming from Fanatics is a miracle. So,
oh man, the amount of support Fanatics has had to do this year is astounding.
The shipping on the shirt was delayed, so they ended up giving me I think $10 or $20 off another order. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want to use it. You guys kind of suck at everything. I don't know that I want it.
What game was it that they won for that one? It was the merch the match, and they won during.
It was the wrestling night. I don't remember who the game was against.
I'm looking at fixtures because might have been. No, it wasn't.
No, it was the game against New England, I think, the 3-3 draw. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
That sounds right. It was either that or against Charlotte. It was one of those two.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to you, Alex. Against Colorado, this is going to be a short pod, and that's perfectly fine. We're coming off international break. We're easing back into it as well. But what is your prediction of a result against the Rapids in Commerce City?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is a must win. They're 5 points back of us in 20th place in the Supporters Shield standings. I'm using that because they are in the West. Must win on the road. You're rested. I'm only concerned that we might be a little rusty, and that we always look a little rusty coming off the international break. So I'm hoping that Oscar's had them working hard this week. We travel smartly. I wouldn't be surprised if we travel early for adjustment to the high altitude. That would not
They'll at
surprise
least be
me.
out here Friday morning, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because it's important, in my opinion, especially with the altitude, to get a training session in beforehand, like at least one training session in at altitude beforehand.
Get
If
that
not
oxygen
two
in
is
your
preferable.
lungs.
Because
So.
I mean, as a bigger guy out here, I will say that even like sometimes the altitude can be a struggle. Like, and obviously, as a fat ass, for lack of a better term, that's why it's more of a struggle. But I see people who are also skinnier than me who haven't been out here long before that also struggle with the altitude. Once you get out here more, you're familiar with it. Like I played around at disc golf up on like a mountain course where we had to do like 25 stories up and down, almost 30 stories worth of elevation change for it. And I was fine afterward. I mean, I was tired, my legs hurt. But as far as like shortness of breath and stuff like that, I wasn't too bad. So
It's good for the calves.
Oh, with Adam coming out, that's one of the things that we're excited about. He's like, I want to see some disc golf out there. You said it's pretty good. So I was like, I got us, most of the courses are free, which is why it's a fun sport to play. But there are some courses that it does cost money to play. And we're going to be doing one of them that it's only like $15 a person. Like, it's not like it's golf tee times that are expensive.
Oh God.
Yeah. But it's a course that's up in the mountains. So it's going to be, it's beautiful. I'm going to take plenty of pictures. I'll make sure to gloat,
please.
In your guys' faces. But I'm very excited to play Beaver Ranch. It's going to be awesome. So I got to brag to one of the guys at work because he apparently is like an amateur, like done some like pro tour disc golf stuff. I just found out about that recently. But I need to know if got to find out if he knows of the course that I'm playing, because I feel like he'll be jealous. So, because it was previously one of the number one courses in the U.S. Like, so
wow,
I'm excited. It should be fun. But yeah, so
I haven't played disc golf since college, so I'm feeling.
Hey, if you ever want to come out here and play, man, I got you. Let me know. Like, I got plenty of courses out here. So
we will definitely talk. I'm going to get out there at some point. I got family out there too.
I was going to say it's too pretty. Like, that's especially as someone who spent the majority of my life in Florida. Once you go to an area that's got like elevation change and stuff like that, it's just kind of like mind blowing just how different everything is. Like, Florida's flat as hell. So it's cool to get into an area that's totally different. And I've been loving it out here. So, because we've only been out here a couple months now, but a little bit over half a year, but whatever. All right. So what's your score prediction for the game?
I'm going to say 2-1, and we get our second goal late.
Okay.
I'm going to give one to Enrique, and I'm going to give one to Dagger.
Okay. Playing the Freeman role, he gets forward and gets something. I respect it. He's also, I want to give him a quick shout out because he's been a great servant to the team. I feel like is the right way to say it. It sounds offensive, but it's really not, because of the fact that he didn't lose his starting job because he was bad. And I know that that's sometimes a struggle for players to understand. He didn't lose his starting job because he was bad. It's just Freeman fit the team and the team philosophy better. And Dagger has been such a good player coming off of the bench in a multitude of roles, whether it be in the attack, in the defense, in the midfield. He does a little bit of everything. And I just want to give him his flowers because he deserves them, because he has played all over the field. And I think he's been excellent when he gets the chance to come on.
He's a servant. Honestly, he serves in whatever role he is needed in, and that's a serving attitude. And he's exactly. A club guy. He loves it. I can see him very much be serving as the next Kyle Smith to this team after Kyle retires.
I can see that. Also, I did
think
say Thagger is on international duty. So yeah.
Yep. Did he just get his 100th start? Somebody just got their 100th start. Was that
I think it
Dagger?
wasn't a start. I think it was just 100th appearance, I believe.
Appearance? Okay.
Yeah.
Still, that's impressive.
All right. So for me, I'm gonna go. You mentioned that sometimes we're a little bit shaky coming out of international breaks. There's one player who's not, though. He's usually better coming out of international breaks, and that's Pedro Gallese. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. He's going to get another shutout, adding to his shutouts at the top of towards the top of the league. And go ahead and give me goals from Pasalic being invigorated, playing with the great Croatian team, and Ojeda. I think those are the two that are going to get it. I'd like to see Muriel on the score sheet again, but I'm going to go ahead and go with those two guys as my prediction.
Nice. I love it.
And with that being said, there was one other thought that was in my head, and
I've got one.
Go for it.
It's going to be a busy month. We got 5 matches in the next 27 days, I think, 28 days.
That's not that bad.
But it's going to be busy because we're going to be shorthanded, as we talked about earlier. No Duncan, probably no Alex Freeman, at least until the very end. But these are key matches because these are some of our last ones where we can win, especially considering 3 of them are on the road. We're playing Colorado on the road. They're 5 back of us. We're playing St. Louis on the road. They just fired their coach. They're minus 13 of us. The only one that is going to be interesting, and yeah, the rankings are going to be a lot different in 2.5 weeks, in about 2 weeks when we play Cincy at home, but they're ahead of us.
Yeah.
Can we win? Can we beat Cincy at home and move up the table? I mean, they might be +3 from us. They're what, 4th in the Supporters Shield, I think.
Yeah. That's the thing that's important too, is when looking at the standings in the East, we're 3 points off of second, or maybe 3 points off of third, and we're in 7th.
Right. It's a very tight place right now.
It's tight at the top, but that's kind of like what I said towards the end. We would be 1 point off of the Shield lead if we won those 2 games that we should have won to close out the month. So those are games that we should be winning, games we shouldn't be dropping points. So it's a bummer to see those, but we're in a situation now where we gotta come out on top. There's nothing else. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Yep.
All right. Well then, my friend, do you have any shout outs for the show?
Shout out to Summer for finally being here and for completely overheating everything and causing my pool in my neighborhood to close. So I'm just dying out there. Shout out to Summer. Shout out to my new job, because it's been a real pleasure to get a new job after some of the stuff that's been going on lately.
Well, yeah, congrats to you on the new job. Sorry about the heat. I'm not going to tell you how things are out here right now because it's going to make you mad.
What's the temperature out there right now and humidity? I'm
70. I could see without the temperature, I could see it's 76 right now. So,
I mean, it's 77 here, but it's pure humidity.
Yeah, it's 77 for you, and it's almost 10 o'clock at night. That's the difference.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here.
I keep forgetting about bad time difference.
Yes. The sun's not even down yet. So,
but
I got
one more shout out. Sorry. Shout out to my father. I started a new job yesterday. My dad started his first day of retirement yesterday.
There you
Congrats, Tim.
There you go. Congratulations. Congratulations to your padre. And hey, I just applied for a new role in my company too. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky and be right there with you. Project management, that's what we want. So
you start your class yet?
No, I haven't. So we'll see. Maybe I'll have to do it to get me over the line, but we'll see. But anyways, quick shout outs. First shout out to wrestling. I went to an AEW show during the break. Had a blast. So much fun. I love wrestling. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I don't care that it's fake. Shut your brain off and enjoy something stupid. It's worth your while, I promise you. And then, see, that's just something dumb. And second, again, I'm not trying to slight Orlando. Shout out to public transit, man. I have living in Orlando for as long as I did. I knew that we did not have good public transit. Out here, I drove to a train station before the Mets game. Shout out to the Mets too. Go Mets. But I drove out to the local train station. It was like 5-minute drive, maybe 8-minute drive. $6 or $5.50 it was for a train ticket for the entire day. Took a train.
Crap.
Took a train to the city. It's a 5-minute walk from the train station in the city to Coors Field, and then hopped on the train. Came right back after the game. You can't. And I did. How much it would have cost me $30 to park for the game. So to just
never mind how
early,
much gas you would have used. Like,
and I'm not far from the city either. Like it's a 20-minute train ride to get into the city. Like, and that's because it's got multiple stops. I haven't lived in an area that's had public transit like that since I was a kid when I was in New York, living in New York. But having that now, it just makes me realize how spoiled, or how not spoiled I was in Orlando, how spoiled I am here to have something like that. Because rather than gas plus parking, I probably saved myself about $35 in traveling. So it's worth your while.
This is making me miss the times when I lived in the suburbs of Chicago, when we would take the train. We would either when I was south of the city in college or when I lived west of the city, we would take the train in to downtown, take the L up to Wrigleyville, get off right at the stadium, and go to a Cubs game.
There you go.
Ugh, very jealous. All the public transit in the Orlando area is at Disney World, and even then it's not that good.
I was talking to my buddy while I was out there, and he was like, I mean, you got the monorail. I was like, yeah, they don't have that everywhere. like Sunrail barely goes from does it even go down to Kissimmee? I don't think it does. No. But it doesn't even go to the airport. Like, that's the only downside I will say is the train ticket costs a little bit more if you need to go to the airport. It's $10 instead of $5.50. But I took the train from the airport to the station by my house because of the fact that Mal, she couldn't pick me up at the airport because she was at work. And I was like, when are you going to be out for work? She was like, in an hour. I was like, I'll just take the train and you'll come pick me up closer to home rather than me waiting at the airport. And it was convenient, it's nice to have that. It's something that I didn't know that I needed before. And now that I have it, you don't realize how much it sucked that you didn't have it before.
Shout out public transportation.
Shout out public transportation. All right, guys. Well, that's an episode. I clearly will not be on for Den After Dark because I'm going to be at the game. So hopefully someone else is going to be able to run that for the game while I'm away.
Hopefully Cleon gets his internet back by then.
Yeah, he did give a shout out to Spectrum for being bad. So shout out to Spectrum for killing his internet.
This show is not brought to you by Spectrum.
No, they ain't giving us crap. So as always, guys, vamos Orlando. Let's get a dub in Colorado, and we will see you next week. I think we actually have a week and a half break before the game against St. Louis. So we got a little bit of extra time, but we will see you then. Vamos Orlando. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Orlando Lions Den podcast. Don't forget to follow us at Orlando Lions Den on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next week in the Den.